welcome back to Evie's Pets. Here on my channel, I try to help you to become a better pet owner so that you can take better care of your pets. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my recipe with you for cat and dog treats. And this is my own recipe, and I will be linking it down in the description below if you need it. And I'm just going to be showing you all the steps to make this really great cat and dog treat. And this treat is going to be really healthy and also a great training treat because of its small size and it's low in calories. And what's nice about it is you can feed it to your cats and dogs, and I have done a lot of research on all the ingredients, and all of them are very good and safe for cats and dogs. So let's get started with this awesome recipe. Here are all the ingredients you will need for this recipe, and I'm just going to go over them real quick because there are a couple important things to remember when making treats for animals instead of humans, because there's a lot of things in human food that dogs and cats can't have. So I'm just going to go over these things real quick. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is 1 pound of ground meat, and you can use any kind of meat you want as long as it's ground and it's 1 pound. Would use just whatever your dog or cat likes, and make sure that it is only meat, and it should be fresh, and it's okay to have the ones in the plastic casings because you're going to be cooking it, so you don't have to worry about diseases or anything in it. The next thing you're going to need is 100% pure pumpkin puree, and make sure not to get the pumpkin pie filling because that has a lot of sweeteners and additives that are not good for your animals. So make sure it says in the ingredients 100% pure pumpkin. So there, it's right there. You can see that is only pumpkin. So the next thing you're going to need is a 15-ounce can of canned fish, and you can use any kind of fish you want. You could use tuna or salmon. I'm using mackerel because it was easy to get in my grocery store, and like I said, I have 15 ounces of this. One other thing is that the pumpkin, you won't need the whole can, so don't worry what size it is. The next thing you're going to need is 2 whole eggs, and I have these really nice farm fresh ones because we have been farm sitting and we're getting a ton of really beautiful eggs, and actually we'll be getting some like this from our own chickens too, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and use these. They're nice and fresh and they're really great for your cats and dogs. The next thing you're going to need is oat flour or another kind of flour. Just make sure it's safe for dogs and cats and it doesn't have anything else in it. I'm using oat flour because I know it's safe for my cat and also it's fine for dogs too. You can also use 100% whole wheat flour, or you could also use coconut flour if you want to go with a grain-free. The other thing you're going to need is some water, and there is no specific measurements to this. We just have some water here to add to it to make it a little more watery so that we can fit it in the molds. The thing you're going to want beside the mixing bowls and other things like that is one of these silicone molds. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. I will explain in a moment how to make these treats without one, but if you like cooking for your pets or maybe just cooking for you, I definitely recommend getting these. They're really useful for all sorts of things, and I actually just got them and I'm really excited to use them. So it's going to be really nice because we could just spread it in here and we can have all these little nice treats that come out just perfectly. Also, if you don't have one of these, you could also use a pyramid pan or some other kind of silicone mold. So use what you have. Now, like I said in the beginning, if you don't have one of these, there's ways around it. If you want to, you can grab a baking sheet like this and cover it in parchment paper, spread out your mix, and then bake it, and then cut it into pieces after, and you will have cat treats that come out just fine. Just they won't be as perfect as your little circles here, so I'm gonna go with the circles, but if you don't have that, that's fine. You could also use a piping bag and a piping tip to pipe little circles on your baking sheet. The thing that you're going to need is a food processor, and you could also use a blender or anything else that you can use to cut up the canned fish. The first thing you're going to do is set your oven to 350 degrees so that it's ready for you when you're finished making all your batter. So I'm just going to go ahead and open my can of fish so that we can get it in our blender. So there we go, we have it open. One thing I forgot to mention about the fish is that make sure it is in water and it doesn't have any oils or any other things. It should just be mackerel or tuna in water. I'm just going to go ahead and add this all into my blender, and you can add the juices too, that is fine. So we're just going to go ahead and put this all in. I was just putting this fish in and I noticed that it had like bones in it, so I just went ahead and took out all the bones, but I didn't realize that canned fish has bones in it, so just be careful what canned fish you're using, and if you find fish like this, like the whole chunks with like the bones and everything in it, I would go ahead and at least take the bigger ones out. I don't think the smaller ones, like ones you can't find, could really hurt a cat as long as you're blending it up. So just be careful and watch out for those big ones. Now I can go ahead and put it in the blender. So the next thing you're going to need to do is crack both your eggs and put them in with the fish. Go ahead, in a big bowl, you're going to mix your turkey, and you're also going to put half a cup of pumpkin. What you're going to want to do is take a big fork and mash this all down until it's combined. What you're going to do is add 1 cup of whole oat flour. What you're going to do is add all this fishy, eggy mixture into your pumpkin and turkey. You go ahead and mix this all together. Now it's all mixed, you can tell it's very thick, and so I'm going to add, we're going to start by adding maybe just like a quarter of this and slowly mixing as we add it, and we really want it to come out the consistency of like a pancake batter, like the pancake mix you use to make pancakes. So we're kind of going to shoot for that, and of course if you're going to do like the tray style thing I was talking about, where you cut it into bits because you don't have a mold, you could probably just use this and that would work really well. But since I'm putting it in a mold, it's a little too thick to be spread into a mold, so I'm going to add some water. I just finished mixing it and it came out pretty well. I wound up adding about a cup of water to it. So I've never used these molds before, so if it's too thick I might wind up adding a little more water, but I'm going to go ahead and try this, and really it's just however you like it. I want a thicker, crispier treat, so I'm going to start with this and see how it goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all my nice batter to the mold and see how it goes. After everything's spread into the pans, go ahead and pop in the oven. This is my first time making my new recipe, so I set my timer to 20 minutes, but I'm going to constantly check on them to make sure that they don't burn. Okay, so all the batter did not fit in all the pans. I still have a ton left, like enough to probably make thousands of treats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep baking all through the day so that I can finish them all. You do not have to do this. What you can do is freeze this and take it out when you need it, or you could also just make a smaller batch. Just use half it or whatever you want. But really, this is just such an incredible recipe because I only spent $10 on the ingredients, and I think this could make probably 5,000 treats. And that is just a ton. If you look at the price at the stores, it's so expensive for such terrible quality treats that you feel really bad feeding your dog and cat. But this you can feel good about, and you know that it's so much cheaper than going out and buying your own treats. These just came out of the oven and they came out super nicely. I put them in for about 30 minutes for a crunchy treat. If you want a soft treat, go ahead and take them out at 20. So yeah, basically 20 or 30 minutes depending on what you like them, how you like them. So we're gonna go ahead and take these out of the silicone mold. Now, if you're not using a silicone mold, this is when you would probably cut up your treats. And also, I would like to talk a little bit about the storage of the treats, because it's important that they don't go bad because they do have meat in them, and you really don't want to be feeding your cat or dog bad treats. So the best thing you can do is keep them in an airtight jar for only about a week's worth amount in an airtight jar in the fridge, and just take them out when you want to use them. Also, since this recipe makes so many, what you can do is bake them all up and keep the rest of them in the freezer, and just put them out overnight, and then when you wake up the next morning, they'll be all thawed out for you to use for that week. I think this is the best way of keeping them fresh. And so yeah, you can see that they just came out super nicely and easily, and that's why I like the silicone mold, but they're really cute, tiny, bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and can a couple just for the week, and then we can go ahead and do our taste test. is time for our taste test. Sadly, I do not have a dog, but I do walk a lot of dogs, and I am taking care of a dog right now, so I will be able to go and give these to some dogs to try them. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and test them on my cat, but I'm quite sure dogs would just go crazy for them. So let's go ahead and see what Milo thinks of these mackerel turkey cat treats. And I think he likes it. Oh yeah, I think it's a yes. There you go. Oh, good boy, you like them. Okay, so I think he really likes these guys. And so you're probably wondering like how many you can give your cat or dog. I think you could probably give maybe, 10, 12 of these to your cat a day. And then for a dog, these make great training treats because they're so small. So, I mean, if you're going through training, I'm pretty sure you could give up to like 30 of these, just because they're so good for them, and they're really quite small, as you can see. I mean, you can just see this in my hand. It's really very small, so these are fine. If you were making bigger ones in bigger molds, then probably less, but with these little dots, I'd say, yeah, maybe, 10 for your cat, 30 for your dog. So that's just a guess. You should probably ask your vet about it if you have an animal with special needs. But another thing is that these are such great treats for animals with allergies, because there's so many things in store-bought treats that just make them feel really sick. But these, everything in here is so most of the ingredients are things that most animals aren't allergic to. So, and also you can change up the ingredients so that you can really make something that fits your dog fine. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that recipe, and if you did, maybe give it a like so that I can make more like it. And yeah, I really think it came out really great, and I'm going to go and try it on some dogs tonight because I'm taking care of them. And I really hope your pet likes it, and even if they're picky eaters or even if they have a lot of health issues, I really hope you enjoy this recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Evie's Pets.